Hey guys, Evan Bourcier here, and you're watching vlog number 14, where I'm going to talk about how I went from owning my first camera, which was a Canon T3i, to my red Scarlet weapon in the span of right around 4.5 years. Now, that's kind of a clickbaity title, but my goal is not to bait you into some nonsense about tricks for how to succeed in this industry. It's not for me to make myself look so great. It's for me to tell a little bit of my story, with hopefully the purpose being to inspire people, to push people to go after what it is that they want to go after, and to really go out there and just crush it and see what's possible. So my name is Evan Bourcier. If you haven't watched this channel before, I am a commercial filmmaker from Massachusetts. I'm currently 23 years old, and I've been doing this for a little under 5 years now. And I started off with no history in the film industry at all. My family is not involved in the film industry at all. My dad's a dentist. I was homeschooled growing up and kind of went back and forth about a lot of different things that I maybe was interested in doing. And eventually, kind of the point that I made a bit of a decision was I wanted to be a graphic designer. So I really got into Photoshop and Illustrator and stuff. I went and looked into going into Full Sail. I graduated early because I was homeschooled, so I looked into going to Full Sail when I was around 16 years old. Got accepted and decided I didn't want to take out a loan. So I lived in Western Massachusetts at the time and decided that I wanted to move to Cape Cod, which is about 2.5 hours away, and just mix things up and kind of figure out what I was going to do. So I started kind of interning at a church there. I was working at Marshall's and Ace Hardware. And during that whole time too, I was getting a lot of questions from people about, hey, what are you going to do? Are you going to go to school? Whatever. And I really was kind of just like ultra disinterested in all of that, disinterested in the conversation, disinterested in the pressure. So I did what I could to try and just ignore all of that. And part of that was why I ended up moving, was I'm far enough that I can get away from some of that conversation and figure out what it is I want to do. So I ended up on Cape Cod having 2 part-time jobs simultaneously while working for the church. I was doing a lot of music, I was doing a lot of design stuff, and was kind of into internet videos, but had never thought really about making internet videos. So I was a real fan of Freddie Wong and Rooster Teeth and some of these other people who were putting out a lot of comedy-based content, to be honest, but I really was into all of that, and a couple of people from my church were also into that. So we decided to start playing around just with iPhone videos, some of this stuff. I actually acted in the first video we ever made, and I took it home, downloaded a trial of Final Cut Pro X, and cut together this goofy little movie trailer thing, and that was my first experience with video ever, really. So after that was probably around like October, November, around November, end of November, our pastor came to me and said, hey, I saw this video you're working on. We want you to do some stuff for the Christmas program at the church. So I ended up editing these testimonial videos. Didn't really know what I was doing, but figured I'd give it a shot. And in December, I ended up getting the Canon T3i for Christmas, and that was my first camera. So everything I'd done up until now was just editing and kind of playing around. I hadn't really shot anything. So ended up going down to this conference in Atlanta called the Passion Conference, and just was starting to play with shooting in manual, learning all the basics, watching Philip Bloom videos, trying to understand my new DSLR, my nifty 50. I didn't have a lot of money for gear then. I was working 2 minimum wage jobs, so I maybe had like $100-200 in the bank. It was kind of trying to figure out how to make stuff work. And so went down with my one lens and my body and shot this video that I was just of this prayer vigil thing they did one night. And it's not really good. It's, you know, exposure's messed up, handheld operating is messy. It doesn't have a lot of redeeming qualities, but it did really, really well on social media. So that was the first thing that I'd ever actually shot at all, was this video. And I put it up. It got like 10,000, 12,000 views or something the first like day or two it was up, and then didn't, you know, tailed off really quickly because it was kind of pertinent to the event. But I was going home and I was like, I really like this. Like, I'm really into the idea of making this now. People are interested in this. I'm going to keep doing that. So I came home and no one cared at all. There were no businesses banging down my door. There were no clients. I still had no clue what I was doing. I didn't have any real gear. I had no experience. And I was really kind of starting from scratch with all of this. So I'd had this high moment of, I made this thing and got lucky and it got a lot of views, and now where do I go from there? So I came home and I just started studying as much as I could. I was consuming as much content on photo and video on YouTube and blogs and fstoppers.com and cheesycam.com and you know, Philip Bloom's YouTube channel and all these different things, and just trying to learn as much as I possibly could and shoot as much as I could. I would stay up all night and take astrophotography at the time and do engagement photos of friends, and so I started dabbling with getting paid a little bit for these things. The first real paid video I ever did, I was filming a friend's kid's first birthday party for $50. Just on the hustle of making something and turning it around. And that led to portraits of friends, which led to me doing my first wedding video, which I think I got paid like $200 for. Shot on 2 Canon T3i's, borrowed one from a friend, and kind of crammed together this wedding video and put that wedding video out, and ended up getting a call from a now client of mine, a commercial client, that said, hey, we really want you to come in and make some stuff for us. And I said, that sounds awesome, but I still have no clue what I'm doing. I still have no gear. I have my T3i. At this point, I have like 1 or 2 other lenses. I think I had like a Rokinon 85 and a Rode video mic, and a monopod maybe, but that was about it. So I go in and start talking to them, and I start getting like the rude awakening to the realities of everything. Oh, I have to understand like the business side of this and taxes, and you know, I have to know how to charge for my services and how to deliver something that, you know, does what the client needs it to do. And so I got quickly shoved into all of that and did the best that I could to figure it out. So, you know, also that was right around the time that I ended up deciding to quit my day jobs and go right into video full time. I was still 18 at the time. I had super low overhead, you know, basically a cell phone bill and gas and ramen. So took the plunge, went into photo and video full time, and would just grab anything I could get my hands on. Portrait session for $50, a small commercial for some event for, you know, $200-300, whatever it would be that would pay the bills. And I just went out there and started grinding. And if you go out there, you can find a bunch of these early videos. I started vlogging way back in the day. I have this secret 4-year-old vlog that has like over 10,000 views. So that's out there and embarrassing if you want to find it. But this is like the kind of stuff that I was doing at that point in time. I had my kitted out T3i that I was super proud of, and was just trying to learn, was trying to understand lighting. I didn't have access to lights hardly ever, but I just wanted to learn. And so I ended up getting asked to shoot a music video for this band. That was like a sort of narrative thing. It's funny, they had an upload of it that had a ton of views, and it got pulled by the label for some reason. It had like 60,000-70,000 views. But this was this like little $500 music video we shot on the T3i, and it was not very good. And so I'm just sitting here kind of grinding bad stuff out, but cool connections are happening, you know, thing for this band that gets a lot of views. I got asked to go to Haiti and shoot some stuff for an organization down there. I started doing some more stuff for the commercial client and started like renting 5Ds and stuff and getting to play with some more legit gear. If we go back through my really old Instagram photos, There's definitely some stuff in there of like when I first got to go to Haiti here and shoot with a 5D down in Haiti. And so I ended up deciding still that learning was the most important thing for me to do. So I decided to go to Masters in Motion within less than a year of me getting my first camera. Took the money I had saved up, put it into going down there, and ended up meeting a lot of really cool people. Got to meet Philip Bloom in person, and Vincent LaFerre, and Alex Buono, and a lot of people who are still friends of mine that I really super value. And John and Christina from Masters of Motion were amazing, and had a really significant impact on me then and my feelings on the film community, and were super supportive. So I learned a lot there. I was a fish out of water, you know, the 18-year-old kid who was trying to get into the parties and didn't have any experience, but was just learning as much as I could. So I ended up going home from that and working on just building more connections. I shot some test stuff of a friend with his longboard and sent it to the longboard company. They were called Original Skateboards, and was like, hey, I just took these, you know, maybe you have a use for them. And they ended up being like, these are great. We really want you to shoot some stuff with our pro rider near Boston. So I ended up going out and doing some promo photos for them that I think the budget was like $150, rented speed lights and stuff, made no money on it. And then they were like, we want you to do a video. So we went and did this slow motion FS700 video with him that, you know, has like 90,000 views now, which I guess is decent. But I think that the budget was $500 and I spent like $600 on it because I wanted to just make it really good. And it was a learning experience. It's not great in hindsight, but at the time it was really good for what I was able to do. So I'm constantly investing in the projects, trying to pay the bills, but trying to make the next best thing, and trying to just prove that like we can do these different things. We can solve complicated problems, working with other friends and bringing them on board and stuff. And so that was really what I did for the next few years. Just tried to make connections with people, put myself out there, be on social media, be on the internet, be learning, be thirsty for knowledge, and be thirsty for work, and take what you can and know when to kind of put your foot down on budgets and when to sink budgets on projects. So there's tons of stuff that I've done now that if you go through my Vimeo, is probably a lot of stuff that people really dig that I put money into on top of what the client had. And so, you know, doing all of that, I ended up, you know, eventually getting a Canon C100. I got asked by LensPro to go to start doing educational videos for them, which gave me access to more higher end gear, which allowed me to make better projects, which then allowed me to get called by people on other things. And so there's just kind of been the hustle since then. And it's kind of funny to go back through all my old Instagram photos and see kind of that progression from, you know, simple DSLR stuff to starting to involve time lapses and just kind of playing with all the different facets of filmmaking and starting to travel some and going to Masters in Motion and getting to meet the Kessler guys and some of these other really cool people. Hiring other DPs in. One of the best ways that I learned was hiring DPs who are more talented than me to come teach me while they were shooting for me. You know, if you're paying a DP his day rate, you can ask him all you want about how he lights stuff, in my experience. And just continued to try to learn and try and, you know, make the best decisions I could, to test things out, to talk to people, and just kept hustling. But these weren't magical projects. They weren't big agencies. They weren't anything. It was like a lot of it was for small churches and camps and bands that had no money and like just desperately trying to make stuff happen. And it kind of kept leading to getting connected to more people, to bringing people in on more projects, to being able to go to clients and say, hey, this is how we did this is what we want to do, and getting bumped from, oh, you have $500 to work with on this project, to $1,000 to $2,000 to $4,000 to $8,000 to, you know, $16,000 to wherever you end up landing. And we're still kind of on that sliding scale. But it's just been a whole lot of hustling, and I didn't have a big investment to start out with. I didn't have a film degree. I didn't have an experience. I didn't have a friend in the world who knew anything about film. I just went out there and started hustling and just trying to be humble and trying to learn what I could and make what I could. And now, you know, we're closing in on 5 years later, and I could have gone to Full Sail. I could have gone to any film school, and I would not trade what I ended up doing for the world personally. You know, I now own my red Scarlet weapon. I have all the tools that I could ever ask for. I get to work with some of the coolest clients on great projects. I've gotten to do stuff for Facebook and ESPN and work with super talented directors and DPs from around the country. I've made awesome friends, and I get to sit here and hopefully try and pass a little bit of that along to you guys. And my goal with that is really for someone else to get to do that too, because I have friends who hit me up and they go, oh, isn't it so cool that you get to like use a red camera and whatever, you get to go to North Carolina and shoot with a NASCAR guy. And it's like, I didn't do anything special. I didn't have anything special to start with. I just went out there and did the work and pushed as hard as I could. And that's all you can do. And I think that you can go a lot of really cool places with that. So wherever in the world you are, wherever in your life you are, I really, really, really strongly recommend just get out there and start hustling, do the work, put good work out there and see where it goes. And you'll end up someday, who knows where. You could be in Hollywood, you could be in Western Massachusetts still working on crazy projects, but there's so much opportunity out there. And I just really want to encourage you that if the kid from Western Massachusetts who had no gear, no experience, and a couple $100 in the bank can get to where I am now, I'm sure that you can get wherever it is that you want to go. So thank you so much for watching. Can't wait to hear what you have to say in the comments. So if you want to hear more about this and continue to learn, I'm glad to point you towards other resources, but a great place is this vlog, which you can subscribe to by clicking on the link somewhere on here, or you can go to my website, eBourcier.com. And I would say that you should come to Masters of Motion and we can hang out, but it's sold out. So thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.